Hello there. So every single day, it was meant to be for 21 days. However, obviously, it's going to be a bit longer than that. So I am throughout the course of however long, and I will continue it after the COVID-19 pandemic anyway, interviewing people that really know their stuff. They're passionate, they're purposeful, and they have something very special, I believe, to offer. They happen to be friends of mine as well. So they're not just random people that I've kind of scoured off the internet. And Francis Scott, the founder of 50/50 Parliament, is definitely not a random person. Hi, Francis.
Hi, Joe. It's great to be with you. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh no, thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on. We connected a long time ago on Twitter, didn't we? And do you remember? I stalked you on Twitter.
I like being stalked on Twitter by people like you. It's fab.
I saw one tweet from you. I think it was about 7 years ago, something long time ago.
Yeah, well, 50/50 started in 2013 when only 23% of MPs were women. I think it was a crazy number. It could have been 120, or was it 142? Yeah.
Was it?
Anyway, since then, we're now up to 32%. 220 women after the last election. It only increased by 12, and at that rate it's going to take half a century to get gender balance in Parliament, and that is, something I feel passionately about, which is why I set up 50/50 Parliament.
Yeah, and just to just put it in context, I remember you had about 40 Twitter followers as well, and now you have about 30,000, don't you?
Probably. I don't know. I don't count.
So just flipping on its head, there's the growth is exponentially across the board.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's been amazing. The support we've had is incredible. At the last election, over 50 women standing had been inspired by our work, and over 9 women elected had been inspired by our work. So it shows that it makes a difference. We run something called the Ask Her to Stand and the Sign Up to Stand campaign. And if people go to our website, if they're interested in perhaps women, if they are interested in getting involved in politics, we'd love you to click on Sign Up to Stand. We've got about 1,200 women who've clicked on Sign Up to Stand, and now we're buddying them and helping them take the next step on the path to Parliament. And we're creating personal political profiles to give them some guidance about what's required in order to sort of help get selected and elected. It's working. It's going great. It's really, really going great.
Yeah.
But more recently, with this dreadful corona crisis, I've become passionate about supporting the women who are fighting on the front line. I've been sitting here in splendid isolation. I'm looking after my 96-year-old mum and trying to keep her super safe. And we've been, her neighbours have been absolutely wonderful in getting us food and things. And I feel a bit spoilt really by the wonderful care that we've had from all her friends. But this has left me some time, and I've been thinking about the nurses and the staff on the front line. Yeah. My husband died 3 years ago, and he was on intensive care for about 2 weeks. And I saw how talented and skilled and caring these staff are. And most of the people looking after him, in fact, all of them were women.
Yeah.
Of our 700 or 1,000 registered nurses, 90% are women. So this battle is one really that women are fighting on the front line, and they're losing their lives. 2 nurses have died in the last 2 days. So I've set up a Just Giving campaign.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so
in honor of these staff, but in memory of my husband.
A lovely thing to do. It's a really lovely thing to do, and like you say, I just picking up on the kind of the actual kind of turnaround. Obviously, the world wars were very much fought by men, and now it's this war. If I don't like to use that word actually, but this situation is very much being dealt with on the front line by women. It's tragic. It's very, it's very.
It really is tragic, and they need all the support we can give them. I mean, I'm out there clapping with everybody, and so thankful for these people who are giving of themselves, their time, and risking their lives for us. Yeah. But I felt they needed more than just claps. They need cash, and I am a bit of a keyboard warrior. So I set up this Just Giving page, and we've raised, we've now raised over £6,000 in a matter of 3 days. And I would love people to help me with it, if you wouldn't mind attaching the link and helping spread the word. The money is going to something called the COVID-19 Relief Fund. And it's for the hospitals in London, which basically supported my husband, Richard. So to some extent at the moment, I'm actually urging 50-50 followers to get behind women on the front line. And I was invited to do a TEDx talk in Brighton towards the end of last year, which was completely amazing. And I was promoting our Ask Her to Stand campaign. And at the end of the day, I was packing up all the 50-50 bits. And some man came up to me and wanted to discuss it. And I'm always happy to engage with people, even if they don't agree with, my aspiration for women to have equal seats and equal say in running the country and preparing for the future.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, it was clear he didn't agree. And he ended up walking off and shouting at me, "Well, it's men that fight the wars." And I thought, well, my goodness, if that's, as if that's a criteria. But as you rightly point out, on the front line of this particular battle, it's going to be women, and we need.
That's blog worthy, Frances. I think we need another blog from you that really just pushes that message out there, because this is why, and it's about being at the table, not being the meal. Yeah. This is why we need 50-50 Parliament, because there has been so many images of all the leadership talks and the committees, and guess what? They're all men, some of them, and this is across the world, it's globally. And although there are some countries obviously leading the way with equality in Parliament and in government level, it's just still so appallingly bad that women aren't represented. And how can men make decisions about gender-based issues to do with women with all that they know? And you can't, even if you just put it on that simple fact. How can men make those decisions for women? And they just can't as well. We need to be there, and we need to be balancing out those conversations and leadership committees. It's overdue. It's absolutely overdue.
It's well overdue, and we want our Parliament to draw upon the widest possible pool of talent. And we would argue that caring experience is as relevant as commercial experience. We've always tended, leadership and power, probably because it's involving money, has always to some extent been led by commercial interests. But as this crisis is demonstrating, more than anything, caring in our community is just as important. And we need people at the table who have experience of caring. And 90% of nurses are women. They have the experience. So it's in a way, it's not really just about gender, it's about drawing upon the widest possible pool of talent and experience, including people who have other experience. And women are drawn to caring roles. And we wouldn't campaign for men necessarily to be in caring roles, although of course it's wonderful if they want to be. It's obvious that some roles tend to be filled by men and some roles tend to be filled by women. But Parliament is meant to be a representative institution. It should draw upon all society and involve everybody, because everyone's contribution is important. And women have less access to power. We have never really been equally involved in democracy. Democracy is 2,000 years old. the Magna Carta did nothing for women.
No, right.
And we are still fighting this battle. Obviously, women got the right to vote after the Second World War, but that's when the voting rights became the same. But we really need to have equal seats at the table, equal seats and equal say.
Yeah.
2018 was actually when women got the right to vote. That was after the First World War, but it wasn't on an equal basis to men till sometime later.
Yeah, it's slow, so slow, and we can't wait another 50 years to have an equal parliament. It just doesn't. It's just ludicrous. But
It is.
I mean, we'll try and stay off politics because obviously I'm one of your directors for the Lib Dems.
Yeah.
But dear Dolly Theus is the director for the Conservative Party.
Well, Kirsty is our director for the Conservatives, and Kelly is our asker to stand director for the Labour Party. And as you rightly point out, we're a cross-party campaign because actually this issue doesn't really concern politics, it concerns democracy. We want to build a better democracy that draws upon everybody's talents, and that's why we're supporting women and encouraging them to stand.
And I'd argue that actually, well, not argue with you, I just argue that actually your organisation and how it has evolved and how we work together, the party behind us is irrelevant. And I know I often say this in our meetings, that matters to me not. It's all about collaboration. It's all about bringing your different skill set, your different talents to the group and to help create a solution. And that is what should be happening now. And instead we're seeing this kind of still this fragmented attitude. I haven't seen one. I mean, I must admit I am very mindful of the amount of media I look at, because otherwise I was going down a very dark hole with it. So I pick it up in the morning and I pick it up at night for 5 minutes and blast it the information. But why is there not more and more collaborative committees? And I haven't seen any media that's saying, right, we are all really, it just that is what women do really well. And I know men do it well too. I'm not saying men don't do it well. However, what you've done with 50-50 just absolutely, for me, just highlights that you can make it not only just work, you can make it even more impactful by saying, look, we are in this together. We are trying to deal with this together. And women are phenomenally good at that, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. It's been amazing working with 50-50, the extent to which women collaborate and put their political differences to one side to fight this kind of bigger cause. Gender equality of representation is what unites us. And it's very important that we all work together on this. We've been very fortunate since we launched, obviously in 2013, launched is too grand a word for it. I was just an angry woman who set up a petition at my kitchen table. And since that happened, the Women's Equality Party has started, which of course has shed a light on many different issues and gained enormous support. They launched, I think it was in 2015. And then more recently, we're working with the Fawcett Society, who've launched something called Equal Power. And along with the Parliament Project, Muslim Women's Network, Citizens UK, Glitch UK, and the Centenary Action Group. And what we're all doing together via Equal Power, which has been funded by Comic Relief to the tune of about £500,000 over a period of 3 years, is we're running workshops throughout the country. And actually, these have gone virtual in these days of lockdown. And so via these workshops, we're hoping to inspire women to get more involved with politics. And obviously, we would like women to sign up to stand via our website so that we can help them take the next step.
Yeah, and where can people check those workshops? Because obviously now they're virtual. Anyone can
if you Google Equal Power, it's on the there is a special part of the Fawcett Society website that is called Equal Power, and women will be directed to that.
And I just want to add,
you sign up to stand via 50-50. we're putting out information about equal power all the time. So with my 50/50 hat on, I would really urge people to join 50/50 via our website. It costs nothing to participate in our movement. And that way we can keep you informed about all the action that we're taking to support women along the path to Parliament.
And I'd just like to just advise women that actually when it's sign up to stand is a moment of action. And from that moment on, you'll be supported. So that's really important, because people are, women's biggest fear is getting it wrong. And we instead of the 90-10 rule that men have, 10% certain, and we have to be 90% certain of something we say. If you have passion and purpose and you want to make a difference and you care about your community or a bigger picture item, then there is your 90%. And therefore, just by signing up, you're just engaging in that potential. And I think women do often, unfortunately, fear, oh my gosh, what does that mean now? Am I going to be on this roller coaster ride to Parliament? Well, we'd love that if that was a quick fix, but it's not, and it's very much hand-holding. So I'm one of the mentors. There's a huge team of mentors and buddies, sorry, we're calling them now, buddies that will hold your hand. So it's not like you're just going, oh, okay, well, I'll sign the form, and you will be supported all the way by Frances, by me, and by the whole team. With all
and
along the whole.
Each other's hands, actually. We're none of us pretending to be expert. It's about helping each other along the way and just cheering each other along. So that, for example, if you attended one of the one of the party conferences, that you'd have a friend there, and that will make it less daunting. So it's about networking. We've had the old boys network forever, and what we're trying to do here is create the new girls network. A little bit of an antidote to that. And by the way, men are very welcome in the 50/50 campaign. We've got lots of great men supporting us, and we really value their input, because they give us a different perspective. And obviously, if a woman is going to stand for office, what she says has to appeal to everybody. Half the population are men. And it's important that the way she presents herself appeals to men as well as to women. So it's about collaborating in every respect, across the genders, across religions, across ethnicities, across the political spectrum. We're here to unite people in our effort to build a better democracy.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very much kind of resonance through all your messaging. So people can sign up to stand at 50/50 Parliament on the website, and then you'll be engaged, like I say, in the conversation, and you'll hear about these events, and you'll be in the loop, because obviously we're all collaborating with the Full Society, CAG, and everything else. So there's lots going on, and it will all be online now, because the equal.
And you don't have to sign up to stand if you don't actually want to be involved in politics. You can participate by just joining, by pressing the join button, and then you can support others.
Yeah.
Because actually, we only need 1 in 100,000 women to be at Westminster to have gender equality. So you might not feel like you're one of those. And if you're a man, we would love you to join our cause. So you can just join in order to help others along the way.
Fantastic. And obviously this is a time when we're all at home, and some people have more time, some people are really busy like me. I've never been busier, but if you are at home and you're thinking, actually there's something I'm passionate about, I want to make a difference, you could be the next Frances Scott, who sits there and comes up with a petition for something. But now is the time to tune into that drive, that kind of passion for something and making a difference. And look what you've achieved in such a short time. It's remarkable. I'm really grateful to work with you. I think it's just incredible what you're doing.
Thank you for all your support, Jo. It's wonderful working with you as well. And I've met so many. I mean, the most wonderful thing about doing something like this is you meet so many other wonderfully inspirational people that otherwise you might never have met. So thanks very much.
Yeah, no, definitely. I've loved joining, and I'm really, really always spouting on. I've got my badge on my jacket. So yeah, so if not, get in touch with me and I can have a chat with you about 50/50. Yeah, and obviously we started off by talking about, it's good to make a bit of an effort for these videos, isn't it, Francis? We were saying sometimes you don't feel like it, especially on a Sunday, but you just never know, you see, because I was just telling Francis that my biggest video, most hit, is Reverend Judith Lee, who is getting the most views at the moment. So come on, Francis, you can catch up with her, I'm sure.
That would be amazing. That's no promises there.
Oh,
But I thanks very much indeed, Jo, for giving me the opportunity. I hope people will also join in the fundraising, because
yes,
at the minute, the women that need help are the women on the front line of the NHS, and they are a bit of they are a major priority.
they are, and they're caring for others, and they've got their own children at home, many of them, you know, so they're putting themselves
So
at
my
risk.
heart goes out to them, and
Can't imagine.
I'm trying to do as much as I can for them at this moment.
So support Francis's scheme and her fundraising. I'll put the link above.
Thanks.
In memory of her husband Richard.
Yeah.
And let's raise some extra funds for these incredible women that are on the front line of today. Francis Scott, lovely speaking to you as always, and take care. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Bye.
Bye.